Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen. In today's video, I'm talking about 10 principles for success in your 20s. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started, okay? So, I'm in my 20s, early 20s, I will admit, but so far, these 10 principles are ones that I have found are really important for success in your 20s. And the first one is to become independent. Now, what do I mean by independent? I don't mean that you refuse help. I don't mean that you become super isolated. What I mean is that you are capable of being self-sufficient from a financial perspective, from an emotional perspective, from a physical perspective, okay? So let's dive into each of those a little bit more. I think financial independence is basically when you can support yourself. Like, you're an adult now, okay? So obviously, yeah, it can take a while to achieve financial independence, and it took me a while to achieve financial independence. But when I was 21-ish, I finally did it, and it was really, really empowering, and I am never going back. So it was great. Emotional independence looks like being able to emotionally self-regulate, knowing what you need in order to support your mental health, developing healthy coping mechanisms, and not making your emotions other people's problems, okay? So obviously I'm not saying don't lean on your friends, because we all need our friends and we all need to lean on our friends sometimes, but I'm saying that don't make your emotions harmful to other people. Does that make sense? So, emotional independence. And the physical independence, that's just being able to like take care of house chores, like do your own laundry, or be like able to travel by yourself, or how to make know how to make bookings, or like fix things around your house, or all of those things, learning those sort of life skills, learning to cook for yourself. Okay, so those like physical independence skills are really important. So the first principle is to become independent. Right, the second principle is, and I do think everyone should try this, because there's a lot of different ways that you can get into this, and it's helped me a lot, so I always recommend it. Go to therapy and prioritize your mental health, okay? So when I talked about healthy coping mechanisms, therapy has helped me learn so many, and obviously, yeah, I've learned some by just being on the internet and reading about things, and also by trial and error and seeing what helps me, but going to therapy and prioritizing my mental health has really helped me be more successful, because when you have bad mental health, it's really counterproductive, okay? And it really doesn't help you. So prioritize your mental health as much as you can. Right, number 3, improve your self-care and physical health, and find physical exercise and healthy food that you enjoy. Now, I struggle with enjoying exercise. Like, sometimes I find it to be a bit of a chore, but finding things that I really enjoyed, like this summer I got into kind of mid-distance cycling. That was fun because I got to go out in nature, and I also really like ice skating, so it doesn't feel like work, okay? So find physical activities that you really enjoy in terms of like exercise, sports, or whatever, and healthy food that you enjoy, okay? So find healthy recipes that you really love to make and get good at making them, okay? So make it fun, make it easy. Right, the next tip is to increase your financial literacy and invest. Now, I used to think of financial literacy as a really like scary topic, and I was like, oh, that's for other people, not for me. Now, that was a complete misconception. You do not have to be loaded in any manner to improve your financial literacy and to understand how to build credit, to understand how to budget, to understand how to invest. Now, I started investing in early 2023, and you can do it like with very small amounts of money. Like you don't need to be super like mega wealthy or anything. I use Moneybox, which is an app, which is not like, I just use it. So it's really easy, and you can just set up like a direct debit for even like really tiny amounts, and it just makes it accessible, okay? So improving your financial knowledge it's not necessarily about, oh, I'm super wealthy now. It's about putting those good habits in place to set yourself up for financial success and financial independence, and understanding how to empower yourself through financial literacy, because it is really important, and I feel like we don't talk about it enough. Okay, my next point is really important from an upskilling perspective, and that is to get either higher education and or professional training. Now, I completely recognise that academia is not necessarily for everyone. Obviously, it is for anyone who wants to engage in it, but I understand that people don't necessarily all want to engage in it. So get like higher education or professional training. So this could take the form of like an apprenticeship or on-the-job training or any kind of practical support that you can get to improve your career and achieve your career goals, okay? So higher education is something that I'm really passionate about because I really like learning in an academic setting, but professional training in a more hands-on way is just as valid and can be way more suitable for people who prefer that, okay? So don't think that it's and it doesn't have to be one or the other. Like, you can absolutely do both. Like, you can go to uni and then pursue more practical professional training, or you can have like a super practical professional career and then go to uni, okay? So those two things can go hand in hand, or you can have one or the other, and neither is more valid than the other. It's just about helping yourself get the skills you need to get in order to have a fulfilling career, whatever that career choice is. Right, work on your 5-year and 10-year plans and your overall life vision. I've talked about this in other videos, so this is kind of a short point, but make sure that you have an overall purpose that you want to work towards. Try to meet people organically until you're happy with your friend circle. I like to do this through going to gigs, through shared interests. I've actually met a lot of my friends at gigs, through just like being at uni and in whatever training environment you choose to be in. Okay, so try and meet people organically through shared interests, because I find that that's a really good filter for friends. And obviously these shared interests can totally be online. It doesn't have to be like meeting in real life, but like try and find a community that you really like being in and find like-minded people, and they will make the best friends. They genuinely will. Okay, this next point is really important because it's kind of irreversible. Make sure that you're fully ready if you want to get married or have kids or even date. Okay, so what I mean by this is make sure that you're kind of in a stable position, and especially if you're going to have kids, because that is like a whole other human being that you are responsible for the development of. Okay, so if you want to like get married and have kids, make sure that you are personally ready, and nobody except you gets to define what ready is, but make sure that you feel genuinely ready and that you feel like you're in a positive place before you do that, because it's really important to make sure that it kind of works out. And you know, I am not particularly interested in getting married or having kids, but for me, like this kind of applies to my dating life in general. So making sure that I was actually ready to date was really important, and there were definitely things that I could have done better on that. Okay, I'm not saying I was perfect. So make sure that you're fully ready to your own satisfaction if you want to get married, have kids, or date. Have boundaries and learn to stand up for yourself. This is a really big one, and it kind of relates to the previous point as well. If you have strong boundaries and you know what your values are and you're willing to stand up for yourself, then you are so much more mature and life will be way easier. Like, it can kind of suck setting boundaries initially because it can be kind of anxiety inducing, but life is so much better once you do. I promise, it really is. And you can check out my other videos on how to set boundaries, how to say no, if you are interested in learning how to do that. Because as a people pleaser, I understand it's really difficult, and it can be really difficult, and learning can be a scary process. So I hope to be able to make that easier. So check out my other videos if you'd like to learn more about that. And finally, the last principle for success that I have is to always have multiple projects on the go. This keeps you from being bored, this helps you kind of develop your skills, and it can just be fun to have a hobby, okay? It can just really be fun to have a hobby, and I have multiple projects on the go in terms of like my career, in terms of learning things, in terms of running this channel, and so I always have something to pivot to that I can do, and I never get bored, and I'm always learning new stuff, and it generally makes my life a lot more fulfilling. So always have multiple projects on the go if you can. Alright, these are 10 principles for success in your 20s. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!